everyone, it's Sara, and today I'm going to show you how to make a butternut squash agnolotti with a ricotta filling in a sage brown butter sauce. All right, so just a little disclaimer here. This is not like your 30-minute one-pan weeknight dinner. It's a little bit more involved. This is the recipe you want to make when you're like chilling in your kitchen. You invite some pals over, you guys are hanging out, but it's so worth the extra mile that you have to go for it. Fresh pasta is obviously the best. If you're like, what the heck is an agnolotti? I would very much like to not have to say that word for the remainder of this video because I feel like I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but basically it's a stuffed pasta. It's similar to ravioli. This one is stuffed with a ricotta filling, but you could stuff it with like a meat filling, whatever you're feeling. So let me show you how to make it. Now I'm gonna cut this butternut squash in half and we are gonna roast it cut side down. And once the butternut is completely cooked through, we're gonna use that flesh in both the filling and the pasta dough. So it's gonna go in the oven now. We've got Jake's brownies in there and we'll see it in like 45-50 minutes. Ta-da! Okay, our squash is out of the oven. I'm gonna now scoop out the flesh. And now obviously you're gonna make a lot more puree than you need for this recipe. You're gonna have leftovers. You could make like a quick bread with it. I mean, you could do anything. And you wanna let this cool before you go adding it to either the ricotta filling or the pasta dough. Now we're gonna cut some pistachios, which I'm going to use later on in the sage brown butter sauce. All right, now I'm going to make the butternut squash pasta dough. I prefer to just make fresh pasta dough in a mixer because I think it's easier. And I know maybe like your Italian grandmother might do the whole make a well and whisk it in by hand, and that's great, but I'm just gonna let the mixer do the work. I'm also like 25 going on 80 and my carpal tunnel is really bad and I just want a mixer to do it, okay? So in goes the flour. We've got some of that butternut squash puree that we had roasted off. And we're gonna do 1 egg and 2 yolks. 1. We'll save the whites for a nice high protein scramble. How does that sound? Yolk. And again. My wrists are really thanking me right now. And now I'm just going to just gently knead this out on the surface just to make sure everything's nice and incorporated. It seems really tough right now, but after this rests in the fridge for at least 30 minutes, but if you could do overnight, that's ideal. You'll see it's a lot easier to work with. Gluten is like people, it needs to rest. Now I'm gonna throw this in a zip top bag and just let it chill in the fridge for some time. While our pasta dough is chilling, I'm gonna go ahead and make the ricotta filling. So we've got some ricotta, obviously, some more of that butternut squash puree, an egg, just to help hold it all together, the zest of 1 lemon, now we're gonna freshly grate some parm, about a half a cup, but I'm gonna eyeball it because I like a little bit more. If you're wondering, this is not good for my carpal tunnel. And then we're just gonna season this with a little pinch of nutmeg for some warmth and some salt and pepper. Salt. We'll give it a mix. So now I have a little piping bag that I've already put a tip at the bottom, and I'm just gonna add this ricotta filling to the piping bag. All right, now we're gonna hold this in the fridge until it's time to pipe. This is some pasta dough that I actually made yesterday, so it sat overnight, and you'll see it's like much easier to work with now that it's rested in the fridge. And I'm just gonna gently roll it out on a floured surface before we run it through our pasta crank. Flour this, just kind of gently. We actually made agnolotti in culinary school. Twas good.
I think you're saying it right.
Agnolotti. This is our pasta crank. It's actually our own Christine's. She's on maternity leave right now, but her pasta crank is working very hard while she's on break. So I'm just gonna flour it a little. and we'll go through. This is where having a friend would come in handy because they could hold one side. You'll see it's gonna get really long.
I'm here to help, chef.
Which one do you want to do? Do you want to crank?
I'll crank.
Okay, so I moved it down to a smaller setting.
Well, here we are going.
Isn't this thing kind of fun?
It is.
Go down to 2.
So you know the trick? So every time you go down, you roll it through twice. And that's how you help prevent because the gluten is so elastic, it will pull back. So by rolling twice on each setting, that's how you
I hate having Jake in my videos because I always get schooled in my own videos.
I will say, I've tried this recipe. It is delicious. I ate the entire pan.
Okay, down to 3. Okay.
I feel like we should play the what was that original Mickey Mouse one on like the steamboat. That's us right now. This is looking beautiful.
Thank you, chef.
You did a good job with the dough. Great gluten development.
It's that overnight rest. Like I said, it's like people. You need a good 8 hours.
This is perfect. This is the perfect thickness. Let's see.
All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of dust my surface with a little bit of cornmeal to prevent any sticking. And I'm gonna work with this first half of the dough that we've sheeted. Just make sure that any dough that you're not working with is just kind of like covered with plastic wrap so that doesn't dry out. So this looks good. And I'm gonna grab my ricotta filling. So we're just gonna do like about a tablespoon amount, and then we're gonna leave like 2 fingers between, and we're gonna keep going across. And now we're just gonna go in with a little bit of egg wash. You don't really need a ton, just enough so that the dough will kind of seal. You just wanna go between each dollop. Now we're gonna fold over. You just kind of want to press it together like so. And then we're just kind of pinch them upwards. Now I'm gonna use my little tool and go across. Fluted pasta wheel, people. Thank you, Rachel Dolphy. I was just like, it's a thinny thing. And now that we've got this, we're just gonna go through and boop, 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 boop.
Cool.
A boop, boop, boop. But a boop, 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 boop. All right, now we're gonna bring all the magic together. I'm going to season my pasta water first. You want it nice and salty. Ta-da! And we're gonna bring that to a boil. And while that happens, I'm gonna make my sage brown butter. So we're gonna go over like medium heat. I like to make brown butter in a pan that is not black so that I can see exactly where my butter is at as far as the color goes. So we're gonna do a stick and we're just gonna slowly let that melt until it browns. While my butter is melting, I'm just gonna pick some sage leaves. Smell really good. I've got my pistachios ready. We're in good shape. It's gonna be great. So as you'll see, the butter is starting to brown, but it's not fully there yet. So at this point, I'm gonna add the pistachios so that the butter can brown as the nuts are toasting at the same time. At the same damn time. Okay. And then the butter gets nice and infused with some nutty flavors, some sage. It's just like everyone wins. Now. And we're boiling. It's like I've done this before. I feel like I'm in a music video. Once my leaves get nice and crispy where I want them to be, I'm gonna keep it warm and then drop my pasta. Look at that nuttiness. And see how crispy the leaves get? Let me like pick one up. All right, once you see them kind of start to float back to the top, that's a good indication that they are RTG ready to go. Okay. And while the rest of my agnolottis are just finishing up, I'm gonna start incorporating the sauce over here with the pasta. So the way that we'll finish this off is we're gonna do the zest of a lemon, which is truly key to this recipe. When I tested this and had everyone try it, everyone's favorite part was the lemon, because like you really get the brightness when you go into this. We'll add some more parm, because duh. Add just a little bit of pasta water to just kind of help make a nice silky, starchy sauce. Silky and starchy. I now have to try another one. It's, you know, a really tough day for me. Let's see where we're at. Yum. And some pepper. And we're gonna do more parm. And I'm actually gonna squeeze some fresh lemon juice as well. And if it feels like it's getting too clumpy, you can always add more pasta water just to smooth it out. Now we just gotta plate it up and eat it. All right, I have a friend here, Rachel Dolphy.
So ready to
We're
eat.
gonna eat pasta together. Let's do it.
My favorite thing ever.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers, my dear.
Beep.
Bonk. Oh my god. When you were testing this recipe, I was really hoping that you would find some things wrong with it so you could keep making it, because I wanted to keep eating it. But the sage and the pistachio, such a wonderful earthy fall combination, little winter business. I love it. Thank
Yeah,
you
this
for
is
making
like
this.
winter comfort food to the max.
Exactly.
This is what you need. If you want this recipe, you can grab it at thefeedfeed.com. And thank you so much to GE for outfitting our kitchen with GE Profile Smart Appliances. I'll see you guys next time.